Hi, and welcome back to my journey through mental health and life in general. I'm Carol Ann, and this is my little corner. Today, we need to talk about the importance of self-advocacy. And along with self-advocacy comes education. You have to educate yourself so you can advocate for yourself. Because, especially if you're involved with doctors and therapists and psychiatrists, I've learned that they don't always know what's best for you. In my experience, especially through 2011 until 2016, I got myself involved with a PCP who didn't have a clue about RLS, apparently, because he put me on, after my accident, he put me on a anti-anxiety and antidepressant because I was having symptoms, and my RLS got bad. I ended up in the urgent care because I had a RLS attack that lasted over 14 hours. They put me on a anti-seizure medication, which only made it worse. And I went through, every time I went into the doctor complaining of these jerking movements, and I started having anger issues where I would black out and hurt myself. And their answer was they just either would change the medication or they would up the dosage, and things just progressively got worse. I ended up trying to commit suicide at least 3 times that I remember. And the third time, when you go in the hospital, you have to go back and have a follow-up with your PCP. He actually accused me of doing what I was doing for attention. And by that time, I had gotten on the computer and learned about RLS triggers. And I had to tell him, Google RLS triggers. And the big ones on the trigger list are a whole list of medications where antidepressants are at the top. Some anti-seizure medications are at the top. Anything that messes with your dopamine or your serotonin will affect your RLS. Apparently he didn't know this, but he still continued on. So thankfully I had a good insurance company who caught on. They were in touch with me after my hospitalization. They were calling me to check on me. Great insurance company, by the way. Molina Medicare, if you can get it. They're the ones that had me change doctors, because he actually looked me in the eye and told me that I had to own up to it. And I'm like, own up to what? You're the one giving me these pills that aren't working. So and it was me who quit the pills. They didn't take me off the medications. I quit everything. I just said, enough is enough. I quit everything but my RLS medication. And I haven't had a seizure since. So I haven't had an episode since. And that was in 2016. After my last episode, which was just horrifically bad. It was actually on New Year's Day. I took an entire bottle of the antidepressants they had me on and ended up in the emergency room. And that was, when I went in afterwards with the follow-up, that's when he accused me of lying and wanting to get more drugs and stuff. And I'm like, no way. I'm done with the drugs. So I went and had that DNA test done, and they have me on mood stabilizers rather than antidepressants, and I'm doing very well. Apparently, if I can do this, I'm doing well. So it's important, because when your doctor, anytime I don't care what the medication is. Anytime a doctor asks, prescribes me a new medication, I will go online and look it up to make sure that I can take it, that it will go with my RLS, that it won't interact with any of my other medications, or even food and vitamins can have interactions. Like, I'm on a statin, and when you take statins, you can't have, not cranberry, but, you can't have certain fruits. If you're on a blood thinner, you can't have leafy greens. You can, but only in a limited amount. You have to watch your vitamin K. So, it's important to educate yourself so you can advocate. And it's important to advocate. You need to speak up. Doctors are like cars. Now, you buy a new car and you don't like it, what do? You take it back. If you buy anything and you don't like it, you return it for something that you do like. Doctors are the same way. If you get a sense that there's a miscommunication, okay, you can try to fix that if you want, if you like the doctor. But if there's something off you don't like about the doctor, you can always get another one. And I don't care what kind of insurance you're on. You can always get a different doctor. You can always just go to your insurance company and say, hey, this isn't working. I need somebody else. So you need to keep that in mind. And when doctors want you to do something that you're not sure you want to do, you need to speak up and say, yeah, I'm not so sure I want to do that. Get second opinions. I should have done that when I had my hysterectomy. They put mesh in me, and that doctor said everything was fine. And shortly after the surgery, I started having problems. I went back to him thinking that, because at the same time they gave me what you call a mid-urethral sling. This might get a little graphic, so you might want to turn this off now. And he said he was very conservative with it. And I thought it was too tight, because I was having problems in that area. Well, here I come to find out that it wasn't that so much as the mesh itself had embedded itself into my bladder. So my bladder wasn't contracting like it was supposed to. So I had to have it removed. What didn't I do? I didn't get a second opinion about getting the mesh. I didn't get a second opinion when I was having symptoms. I just listened to the surgeon. So when I look back, I should have said, no, we need to look into this. Or I need to get where can I get a second opinion? I know now that I'm going to do that, because I've since had 2 surgeries. May have to have a third, we're not sure. We're trying other methods at the time. And so it'll probably, my life has been changed because of it. So yeah, you need to educate yourself, and you need to advocate. You need to speak up. So I know I've been titling this My Journey Through Mental Health, and I haven't really been I've been touching a little bit on my story, but I think next week I'll start from the beginning of my own story. And some of you may find it boring, some of you may not. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. Maybe you won't. For me, I'm just using this as an outlet to let some of my stuff out that, I can't I have trouble talking to my therapist, although I have a good therapist so far, so it's so far so good. So, I guess this is going to be short. Remember, advocate, educate,